Hello everyone, welcome to Indian Economy by Aman Soni. In today's news, we shall be discussing the important articles related to economy from the Hindu newspaper. In the very first page, there is a news about the increased exports. Last year, the economy was reeling under the pressure of the pandemic. Now it has improved and recovered. Here, as you can see from the graphs, as compared to April 2021, the exports have increased from 30 billion US dollars to almost 38 billion US dollars. And at the same time, the imports have also increased from $46 billion US dollars to 58 billion US dollars. And here, if you can observe, even though there has been increase in the exports and the imports, the deficit has also increased because the increase in imports is more than the increase in exports. That is why the deficit has increased. The deficit, which was earlier $15 billion, now it was almost increased to 20 billion US dollars. And here in the table, various items have been listed as to what are the most exported commodities. And even now, the petroleum products remain the highly exported commodities. And next come the engineering goods. At the same time, here we can see a new trend where in the beginning of the year, in the last 1 year, the gold imports were increasing, and now currently the gold imports have been reducing. That is why there is a negative growth in when it comes to gems and jewelry when it comes to the exports, and even in the imports it has got affected. And as usual, the most imported commodities remain now the coal and coke, and next comes the petroleum and crude, and after that the electronic goods occupy the third place. Here you need to remember the increasing or decreasing order. There can be a probable question in prelims asking us to arrange the imported commodities or exporting commodities in the increasing or decreasing order. On an year-on-year basis, the gold imports fell almost 73% to just $1.7 billion, and at the same time coal imports almost doubled. And because of the increase in demand in the coming future, the coal imports are just going to be more and more, as we saw in yesterday's news about how in summer the electricity demand will increase, because of which the coal demand also increases. So now we will have to import more coal. Even though the gold prices and the gold imports and exports have fallen, at the same time the import of golds have been offset by the increase in non-oil, non-gold imports such as coal and chemicals. And this increase is especially caused because of the higher commodity prices caused by the Russia-Ukraine conflict. So this is known as concept of imported inflation. It means that here it shows that we are importing the inflation. What does it mean? In simple words, because of the increase in prices, because of the inflation in external sector outside your country, when you are importing those goods, the cost of our import, the basic import itself would be higher because of inflation in those countries. And when you import that as an input and sell it here, that price will have an already component of the inflation of that country. That is why you are saying imported inflation. And in the exports, ready-made garments also increased and saw increase of almost 16.4%. And currently drugs and pharma sector is the India's fifth largest exporting sector. Currently the drugs and pharma sector is not included under the remission of duties and taxes on exported product scheme. What is this remission of duties and taxes on export product scheme? The government has come up with a scheme wherein they say that all the local taxes and the taxes on logistics and the various customs on the exported goods, that would be reimbursed by the government to the exporter. In order to increase the exports and promote the exports, the government has come up with this scheme. And even the chemical and iron and steel industry has not been covered under this particular scheme. And what are the opportunities that the India is going to see in the future? Because we signed trade pacts with UAE and Australia recently, it is going to open us new opportunities and new markets to our products. So that is an opportunity. At the same time, high logistical costs and increase in raw material prices are hurting all the sectors, because increase in transportation and logistical cost will impact all the sectors, impact all the supply chains of all the sectors, and increase in raw material price also impacts all the sectors, and ultimately the price would be borne by the retailer. Today in editorial page there is no news about the economy, and you need not read this article about Elon Musk, you can skip it. Here in open editorial page there is a graph about the life expectancy of Indians. The National Family and Health Survey data shows that between 1997 to 2000 and 2013 to 2016, the overall life expectancy of all the individuals has improved. But at the same time, the survey has saw some gaps wherein the life expectancy gap between various class of people has remained the same. That is, the life expectancy of higher caste people is more than the vulnerable section in all the segments, whether it comes to the male, female, or life expectancy at 60 years of age. So in all of the segments, the life expectancy of rich class and higher caste people was more than the vulnerable class people. And for prelims, for us the important data would be that the life expectancy of women, that is the female, is more than the male. As you can see here, life expectancy at birth, the life expectancy of a high caste female would be almost 72.2 years, and men it is 69. So if you can compare all the numbers here, here 69, here it is 66, again here it is 68, here it is 62. So we can conclude that the life expectancy of women is more than the life expectancy of men. That is one crucial point. And the other point is the life expectancy of an urban person is more than the life expectancy of a rural person. That is showed in this graph, wherein overall the life expectancy of a person living in urban areas is more than the rural area. So to sum up, the life expectancy of women is more than the men, the life expectancy of urban person is more than the rural person. This trend would be helpful in solving the questions in prelims. In the world page, India extends more aid to Sri Lanka. Apart from the previous aid and help that India gave, recently the government has again extended a short-term loan facility from the Exim Bank. Previously the government had extended almost 3 billion to the cash-strapped Sri Lanka because of the crisis that it is going through, in the form of currency swaps, in the form of credit line for importing essential goods by deferring the loan repayment. We have seen how the RBI had extended a 400 million currency swap to Sri Lanka and $1 billion of credit line to import essential goods like rice and oil. Again, we gave a loan deferment of almost 1 billion under the Asian Clearing House. And in order to import 400 million tons of fuel, we gave a credit facility of almost $500 million to Sri Lanka. And all this India is doing under the outlook and foreign policy of neighborhood first and Sagar. Sagar is nothing but security and growth for all in the region. In the business page, today there is no news related to economy that we'll have to individually go through. Just read these headlines. You can skip this news. India is set to import more coal because of the increase in electricity demand in future. So again, the headlines is enough. Yesterday we discussed about the anchor investors. Anchor investors are those investors out of the qualified institutional investors, wherein the anchor investors would be given allotted shares before the shares are open to public through the IPO. And LIC saw a high subscription. So what does this imply? Experts say that if anchor investors like the mutual funds, insurance companies, foreign portfolio investors, if they have subscribed to a share issue heavily and there is a high demand, that means that it will give a signal to the people that this initial public offering, this IPO of a company is having high demand in the view of the consumers, and the investors are heavily wanting to invest into such a stock. So probably it will push the stock price higher when it start trading. Again, you can keep this news. These are the articles related to economy today. Thank you so much.